All set? Where's Yvonne? Where'd Yvonne go? Oh, we're ready. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this CL and Connolly Administrative Headquarters office. We are here Tuesday, May 17th. Beautiful day in downtown Cleveland. Call to order. Please call the roll.
As a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Tuma. Mr. Tuma is absent. Mr. Jones. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. There is a quorum. Also like the record to reflect that council members Miller and Turner are in attendance.
Thank you very much. And evidently, we will not need the appointments. Okay, public comment.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The first is Ms. Merrill Johnson.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Councilman Gallagher and the rest of the committee. They treat you like an animal in here. Those disturbing words were said to me during a phone call with a former resident of the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center. To protect his privacy, I will call him Jamal. When I asked him to evaluate the conditions of his former residence for 3 months on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 representing horrible, he responded 8 or 9. I'm standing here to advocate for our children and to represent the Justice for Our Youth Task Force. Our children deserve to be safe, healthy, and protected, no matter where they are, no matter what they have allegedly done. As has been demonstrated in a number of newspaper articles, this has not been the case. I was on the brink of tears as Jamal shared the following. When we're locked in our room, we have to push a bell to go to the bathroom. A lot of times the guards don't answer. We knock and bang on the window and the door, and they still don't come. We have to use the bathroom on the floor. When I asked him about doing number 2, he responded, "You do what you have to do. Sometimes the staff will help you clean it up." Last week, I talked to a detention officer, Mr. Jones, fake name, about the dangerous conditions. He said, "We are severely understaffed. We don't have the staffing to keep the kids safe. If there's a call for an alert, there's not enough staff to respond. A kid can take a beating with no one to assist. Detention officers are working 70-hour weeks. The morale is so low and the burnout is so serious that they are calling off and the kids get stuck in their rooms." Another detention officer, Mr. Hayes, said a resident was so severely beaten that he was throwing up for 3 days straight and was finally diagnosed with a concussion. Jamal also shared that the residents are locked up in order to eat, and they have 20 minutes. Sometimes the guards take very long lunch breaks, and the residents are not released, sometimes for as long as 2 hours. When I asked him about treatment, he said the guards love to say, "I like to get physical." Mr. Jones said he has not received any training in 6 years. Especially important is the Subject Control Intervention Training, or SCI. He asked Superintendent Brandon Winarchuk about allowing the veteran qualified officers to train the new officers. He said Mr. Winarchuk told him money is not available for that. A former employee I talked to, Ms. Smith, another fake name, recalled a disturbing incident in 2018. The residents on suicide watch are supposed to be given Velcro gowns so they don't have their shirts, bras, and pants to tie around their neck. 2 administrators gave orders not to put the residents in Velcro gowns. Even though it was against policy, no reason was given. At this point in the conversation, Ms. Smith compared the detention center to a slave ship. She also said, "No children have died by the grace of God." Mr. Hayes spoke of racism and called the detention center a plantation environment. At another time during Ms. Smith's employment, the residents rebelled because they had been locked in their rooms for long periods of time without recreation opportunities. As a result, they were shackled and handcuffed to go to the restroom. She said the administration should have had staff stand outside to the restrooms to prevent further problems. Ms. Smith said at times there was no laundry detergent. At other times, laundry detergent was bought from the dollar store, which caused a number of girls to get a rash. Mr. Jones confirmed that clothes were being washed in plain water without detergent during COVID. Our young people need our help. The Justice for Our Youth Task Force is asking this committee to hold a hearing at which Superintendent Brandon Winarchek is made to account for the oppressive, inhumane conditions at the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center. The residents may have allegedly committed crimes, but they are still human beings, and they deserve a quality education in a safe, healthy, rehabilitative environment with some hope thrown in for good measure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I supposed to wait for questions or anything, or do I just sit down?
This is not a dialogue.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to wait around, we can talk.
Okay.
And the next speaker is Mr. Colin Sycon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Colin Sycon. I represent the Labor's Local 860, and we in fact represented 135 workers in the juvenile court. We're in litigation now about representation. What I come to here today about is our frustration with the running of that center, with or without union. We've done a public records request and did a little homework here. This is one of the main issues we had with juvenile court, is that they would take very long times doing in-house investigations of alleged wrongdoings. So we went ahead and we got some information from Summit County and Franklin County. We're waiting on numbers back from other counties. But as you could see, from January of 2015 to January of 2022, Summit County spent a total of $28,358 on paid administrative leave for people who worked there while they investigated. Franklin County spent $27,873.28 in that same time frame. In that very same time frame here in Cuyahoga County, this juvenile court spent $681,736.84. I know that they are the court and they are legislated outside of the executive. However, that court is funded through this county by taxpayer dollars. There is a wild lack of oversight, and something needs to be instituted. Otherwise, this financial sinking ship will only grow and get worse. These numbers are disparate. These are the things that go on that no one knows until people have to start digging. This needs to see the light of day. Quite frankly, looking at this, I wouldn't trust that administration to make sure my cat is fed while I'm on vacation. Out of these people who were put on paid administrative leave, 15 of the employees were on leave for over 25 weeks collecting paychecks. One of them, the longest, was on 36 weeks getting paid. It's worth noting that while a lot of these people are out on paid leave, this place has been so short-staffed pre-COVID that the taxpayer has essentially paid 250% of what it should cost. They paid someone their full salary to sit out and someone time and a half usually to cover it. I see my time is up, but if there's something this county can do to implement oversight, a watchdog group, or anything, this is all money that could be spent towards programming for the youth, training for the staff, or hiring more guards. Thank you.
Anyone else, Janine?
No, Mr. Chair.
Resolution 2022-0127.
Resolution number 2022-0127, authorizing an amendment to contract number 228 with the Metro Health System for correctional health care services for the Cuyahoga County Jail System.
Did you want to,
Well, Mr. Chairman, if I may, just a short introduction. This amendment does a couple of things. One, it.
we're not there yet.
Okay. But,
Janine, are you done?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
so, as I said, this amendment does a couple of things. One, it buys us a little bit of time while we work out some amendments to the contract with Metro. That contract actually expired on May 9, so we are a little late with this. My apologies. But we need a couple more months yet to work out some amendments to address some litigation issues. So after I finish with this, I'm going to ask that we go into executive session so we can explain those litigation issues to the committee. The amendment also addresses some financial issues that came up as a result of use of the CARES Act money back in 2020, 2021 to fund some of the expenses over there that resulted from COVID. So I would ask that right now, that we move it along, we can get into executive session and we can talk about litigation issues with the prosecutor's office.
Okay. As the law director mentioned, we have a proposed substitute for Resolution 2022-0127, and it's simply the changing of the amount. If that's in order, I'll accept a motion in a second to substitute 2022-0127 with the proposed substitute.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll be dealing with the proposed substitute going forward. As the law director said, all meetings of the Cuyahoga County Council are open to the public under the Ohio Open Meetings laws. Under that law, council may go into executive session during a meeting for specific authorized purposes. During executive session, council confers outside of the hearing of the public. Council may not make any decisions about any of the matters in executive session. All decisions are made in public. This afternoon, Council's Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee will go into executive session to discuss pending or imminent litigation. During this time, our live stream will be down, and we ask all those not specifically needed for the executive session to remain in council chambers. Council members will convene in the adjacent room, Committee A, and will re-enter the meeting once the executive session has ended. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending or imminent litigation?
Yes, so moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Roll call?
Calling the roll for executive session, Mr. Gallagher,
Yes.
Ms. Conwell,
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. The ayes have it, and we will adjourn to executive session and be back out as soon as we're done. Okay, we're reconvening the Public Safety and Just Affairs Committee, and we're now back on the record. Mr. Law Director?
All right, thank you. Just a little more history. This contract first was put in place in 2019. It was for 3 years, so, and as I said, it expired in May 9 of this year. The original contract contains a provision that allows an amendment to extend it out an additional 2 years. The amendment that's in front of you right now is for 2 months of that 2 years. Again, that's to kind of finalize these negotiations we have with Metro over some of the litigation issues we were just discussing. This amendment also adds a little over $10,600,000 to it. You will recall back during COVID, we did some emergency spending to cover costs over in the jail using CARES Act dollars. And that was about $9.5 million. So that's a majority of this money. Since we were adding costs to the contract, we didn't, and this is again one of those things that comes up when we were transferring contracts from the old system into Infor, and we didn't run over appropriations, but we ran over budget for the year. We didn't run over appropriations because we were using a different source, the CARES Act dollars, to cover the appropriations here and to cover those COVID expenses in the jail. So about $9.5 million of this $10.5 million is related to that, related to COVID expenses. There's still about $1.5 million left in the existing appropriation before that. Then this other $1.5 million is designed to get us through this couple-month period through August 9. And then the plan is that we'll get in here in July with the amendment that takes this existing contract out the additional 2 years that was originally contemplated. And it'll also deal with the litigation issues. Then we'll have a full-blown budget for those last couple of years in that amendment that comes in here before recess. So that's our thinking right now. Detailed questions about money. Donna's here from the Sheriff's Office to help explain the things that are way over my head, but that's the big picture.
Okay, questions? Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to be clear that I'm seeing several different figures. So the 10 is not what you're asking for us today, or you are?
No, the $10.6 million is the additional appropriation. I'm sorry, Chairman of the Councilman, the $10.6 million is the additional appropriations we need to cover the COVID expenses that we used back in 2021.
And we had 10 before, and we got about $1 million in that pot.
Yes, in the original contract pot, right?
Okay. So this, okay, I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Miller?
So if I understand this correctly, most of this additional money is for services that have already been provided and were paid for under CARES Act, but were not reflected by increasing the appropriation for this contract. Is that what occurred?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Councilman is exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything further? We're good with that? If the committee's good with that, I'll accept the motion for resolution
Sorry,
2020.
one interruption. I asked that could it go forward for second reading?
Did you want suspension?
Yes,
That's what I was going to do.
I'm sorry, yes.
Because of the date.
Yep.
Okay. I'll accept the motion for resolution 2022-0127 as amended to the full council under second reading suspension.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. Miscellaneous business?
Thank you much.
Thank you, sir. Miscellaneous business? Nothing? Thank you.